Hi, everyone. Welcome to our One World Peace Energy Encounter with the Zohar. This week's portion is Ekev, and in our copy of the Zohar, we're in volume 22, and it's page 134, and we're going to be at verse 16. So let's begin by inviting in for assistance in understanding this, the Kabbalistic lineage of the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rabbi Shlag, Rabbi Brandwein, the Ria Kodesh, the Ramchal, Rabbi Tarfon, Rav Avram Mazulai, Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, Rav Kolonel Shapir Pius Setzna, the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and all the students from Mordechai of Chernobyl, one soul with Yosef at Tzaddik, Joseph the Righteous in Shechem. Today is the 19th day of Leo, of Av, and we're in the midst of two of the most positive weeks of the year. I mean, I feel like there's always positive times. This is one of them. There's also very challenging times. This can be challenging also. It doesn't mean it's not challenging, but it means there's a lot of blessings available. So as we connect to these verses, let's, first of all, let's think of the world and our consciousness, and how our consciousness really changes the world. When we elevate our consciousness, we are literally channeling energy, positive energy into the world. Those connections are easier on some times than at others, but when you're studying the Zohar, you're always making a connection, a very high connection. So it's an opportunity for us to channel the energy of peace, peace in Israel, the safe return of all the hostages, protection from the threats from Iran, protection for all those innocents that are in harm's way. Also ending the war between Russia and the Ukraine. Let's also send out energy of healing to those people we know who need healing. Chana bat Rivka, Sarah bat Miriam, and Sarah bat Malka and Sarah bat Yehudit. Anyone else and everyone else that we can think of that we know that needs energy of healing. Specifically,
Vanessa bat Rachel Dina.
Vanessa bat Rachel Dina, Chaye Sarah bat Chana. Let's also send out energy of assistance to those souls that we know that are in the process of transitioning. And let's also connect to the energy of protection from evil eye and evil speech, removing negativity and chaos from our world. The energy of ahavat chinam, unconditional love, and treating everyone with human decency. Okay. Let's begin verse 16. Again, we're in the portion of Ekev, which is volume 22. It's verse 16. In my book, it's page 134. Baruch ditzlota, barnash korea bevir koi, v'gachin resha be'ata, begin de'ata ikre rosh, ve'alda koin atil barosh, ve'iu rosh tadir, v'gin kach kri'a bevaruch, v'gachinu deresha be'ata, v'koin b'chol atar di'ikre ata, gachin bitzlota, melech batar de gachin, tula zakif my tama. Kuchabrichu amar la lesihara zili az iri garmich v'tula zakfa v'ginda birchata de barnash barichu kuchabrichu itar la'arka birchan mil'ela le'almin kulhu kama di'itmar zakain inun Yisrael be'alma din uva'alma de'ate. Okay, Maria, verse 16.
At the word blessing in the Amidah prayer, one bends his knees and bows his head at you.
Okay, so just by way of background, this article is called Meditation over a Blessing. And the particular blessing that we found ourselves in is what's known as the Amidah prayer. It's the standing prayer. It's the highest spiritual prayer that we typically make in our 3 services we have daily. And just to remember, the morning prayer is about channeling the energy of chesed, of mercy. The afternoon prayer is about the energy of glura, of judgment. And so it's about restricting judgment. And the evening prayer, arvit, is about tiferet. It's about balance. So bless you. So each of those are three distinct prayers with distinct connections and distinct energy that relates to the time of the day. In the morning is a more merciful time. The afternoon has a tendency to be more judgy energy, and the evening is more balanced. And so to leverage the opportunity to channel that energy for the world, the patriarchs developed those opportunities as times for prayer. And then the Kabbalists throughout the ages created specific order of prayers based on the holy writings and based on other things to give us an opportunity to maximize that connection. It's like, giving us the tool. Those are tools. Those are tools to avail ourselves of the energy that's available, to maximize that connection. So there are tremendous spiritual opportunities. So the first thing that we have right here is this ability. We're not saying those services now. We are reading a Zohar that is connecting to the energy of the standing prayer, which is like, why are certain prayers do we sit and why do we stand? And why do the Kabbalists set it up that way? Because standing prayers typically are opportunities to elevate our consciousness. And the standing prayer itself, the Amidah, is the highest opportunity to elevate our consciousness. That's the most elevated part of each of those three services. It's the most elevated part of our day in terms of spiritual connections. What about, well, then why do we sit? Why don't we just stand all the time? Because sitting is connecting to physicality, it's connecting to malchut, it's grounding ourselves, it's manifesting the energy that we're connecting to. So throughout the prayer services, there's times that we stand and there's times that we sit. And then there's the Amidah itself, the standing prayer itself, which is the highest connection. So that's nice to know. But what does that mean for us now? Well, part of it is acknowledging that we're given opportunities to connect to the upper realm, all kinds of windows in time. Well, can't you connect to the Creator at any time? Can't you connect to the realm of blessings, to the realm of miracles, to the realm of fulfillment? Can you connect to that anytime? Yes. Are there better times? That's the point. Yes, there are better times. So, like, for example, the Sabbath is approaching. Midday today, it's now 12:27 local time. Midday today is approximately, not approximately, it's actually 12:52, 12:53. So when we hit 12:53 on our clock, our realm, our world is being infused with the extra special energy of Shabbat. And we've talked about this, but just it warrants repeating. We're going to get to 12:53 while we're on this call. That the energy changes. And it behooves us to be open to feeling that. Because when we feel that, we're connecting to it. We're manifesting it. If we ignore it, we don't feel it, we're not open to it, we're not manifesting it. It's there, but we're not. It's another window in time, and that energy starts to infuse our realm, and then at sunset, approximately, and sometimes it could be before, but certainly no later than sunset, it's full-on energy of the Garden of Eden available to us. It's the one time of the week where chaos doesn't reign. Actually, the energy of the Garden of Eden reigns. That's our, and so the things that we do, well, we want to avail ourselves of that. And so we have a lot of tools to do that, to make that connection. And again, while making that connection, it's about us trying to create a better world. This is why we call this one world. I actually changed it to one world peace today. This is why we call this one world. It is one world. And we're responsible for what? Well, if you have the knowledge and the ability to channel the energy of peace and healing for the world, I mean, how do you ignore that? I can't. Well, you can, because there's plenty of distractions. But like, we don't want to do that. Like, they're missed opportunities. The Shabbat of Ekev that begins tonight and starts infusing our world at 12:53 today. It's the last, there'll be an Ekev 12 months from now. It's not going to be the same. This is energy uniquely designed for our world right now. So it's not just what's the meditation over a blessing. What is the consciousness we should have when we're making connections? It is that, and we're going to talk about that. But it's like, you don't need the formulaic language, which we're going to talk about, to make that connection. We got to just direct our attention. We have to open our consciousness up to the opportunities that are there. Now, once we're there, like you go to the beach, you're going to bring a chair. Like once we're there, you want to maximize that connection. You want to bring a chair, you probably want to bring an umbrella and sunscreen when you're going to the beach. So like, what are the things that we do to maximize that opportunity in a safe way? Hence the umbrella and the sunscreen. Like, what do we do? How do we connect in the best way possible? Well, we're fortunate. We have the Zohar. We have thousands of years of Kabbalistic understandings about what's available and how best to avail ourselves of it. So it's really a ridiculous opportunity. And look around, we can see what's going on in the world. It's messed up. Objectively, it's messed up. There's all kinds of chaos reigning all over the place. Could have been 200 years ago, we wouldn't know what was going around the other side of the planet. I talk to people and it's like, well, I was busy this week. What happened? What happened? Well, you're under a rock? I mean, you can't tune it out. But today, like, we're not just bombarded with what's happening on our block. We're bombarded with what's happening halfway around the world. You can say, well, that is a crazy like burden. Well, you could look at the cup as half empty, or you could say a cup is half full. It's a tremendous opportunity to impact the world. If I know what's going on the other side of the world, I can send consciousness there. I can send positive energy there. 200 years ago, I couldn't because I didn't know what was going on. So it's really an indication of progress that we can impact the world. Now, I can tell you're impacting the world even if you don't know what's going on, but if you do know what's going on, you can send that energy there. And so we need to, that's why when we begin our studies, we're always asking for help from our lineage, but also we're directing our attention to specific parts of the world that we're aware of. I mean, there are things that are going on that maybe we aren't aware of, but maybe we should be. But clearly, if we are aware, there's a reason. It's not haphazard. The Creator is making us aware so that we have free will. We can have a positive impact or not. But we can't say we didn't know. That we can't say anymore. Because we do know. Well, what do? Do I get on an airplane? I mean, I don't know. But I know that from a Kabbalistic standpoint, the distance that exists between here and those hotspots around the world is just an illusion. I don't need to physically be there to send that energy there. I mean, it's best, obviously, the closer the better, but I can do that from here. And that's very powerful, incredibly powerful, more powerful than we realize. So we want to be open up to that, because when we're connecting to the upper realm, we're connecting to the energy of miracles. And miracles, as we've discussed, miracles are the norm in the upper realm. We just don't see them here. So initially, right off the bat, before we even get into the guts of what we're connecting to, we just want to open ourselves up to this consciousness of an awareness that we actually do impact the world with our consciousness. And when we direct our consciousness to places where there is chaos and there is negativity, we are positively impacting that by sending positive energy there. And not everyone buys that view of the world, but we do. So it's not a matter, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's just us living in our truth. And the merit of having awareness of that truth is tremendous. And we can all talk to people and they'll be like, oh, they'll be a little skeptical. That's their doubt. That's not ours. That's what they need to work on. That's not, I can't change that. I can't really. All I can do is work with the consciousness that I have and expand my consciousness and elevate the world with what I can do with my consciousness. Okay, let's continue.
Because you is called head or first.
Okay, so the standing prayer begins with Baruch, which means bless or blessed, but it's definitely connecting to the energy of blessings. And the second word is atah, which literally means you, as the Zohar is saying. I get that. Blessed are you. So it sounds like we're having a conversation with the Creator. Now, the conversation, the Creator isn't waiting for us. Well, I shouldn't say that. Does the Creator need to have a conversation with us? No, we need to have a conversation with the Creator. That's the point.
Are you over now?
Of the blessing. That's the point of. It's like we need to have a conversation with the Creator. The Creator's energy is everywhere. Well, why do we need to have a conversation with the Creator? Why is it on us? Can someone else take care of it? Why is that on us? Remember, at creation, which we will be studying another month and a half from now, as the cycle of weekly portions returns to Genesis. Remember, we asked for a world where we could be channeling blessings. That's what we asked for. We were, before creation, as Kabbalistic knowledge explains to us, there was complete symmetry and unity between the giver and the receiver. Blessings were just constantly flowing, no problem. And then we, the receiver, decided, you know what? We also want to share blessings. That's what we decided. And at that point, the Creator removed the light. Tzimtzum. This is the Kabbalah as explained by the Arizal. It's Rabbi Isaac Luria, who lived 500 years ago, who the greatest Kabbalist the last 500 years. He said, when we consciously went to a place where we want to be able to share light also, the Creator pulled the light back so that we could generate light and share light. And that's where we are. We're stuck in that world right now. We asked for it. So what's the deal with the prayer? Why do we have to use certain formula and because we asked for an opportunity to channel the light. And so this is the world where you have to work to make things happen. We don't see the light of the Creator. We do see blessings, of course, and then we see a lot of negativity and things going chaotic. That's the realm that we asked for. So in this highest of prayers, the standing prayer where we're elevating our consciousness, it begins with, blessed are you. Now, the Creator doesn't need to hear that. It's not like the Creator has like low self-esteem. The Creator doesn't have low self-esteem. We have that. So when we say, blessed are you, this is another opportunity for us to elevate our consciousness to connect to this higher realm. And so what the Zohar is telling us is, atah is called head or first. meaning we're connecting to the source. Now, this kind of brings us back to a conversation we had in another class earlier this week, where we were talking about the source. It makes it sound like there's a beginning. Well, literally, Breshit, Genesis, means in the beginning. So wasn't there a beginning? No. No, beginning is just, you know, a description that we can wrap our heads around, because we live in a world where there are beginnings and ends, and that's how we view the world. And so beginning is for us just a handy reference point. But the world existed before the beginning. But when our souls come down here to have this physical experience, we view the world around us with beginnings and ends. And so that does become a beginning for us. And it's helpful to look at the world in a linear fashion, but it's not linear. And so the second opportunity that we have here really is to raise our consciousness to understand, yes, linearity is helpful in understanding what's going on around us, but it's an illusion. Existence, reality is not linear. It's forever. It's Ein Sof. It's without end, and hence without beginning. And yes, that tests the limits of our consciousness, of our conscious thought, because it's not a concept that we can really experience here. We don't experience immortality. So we have doubt as to whether it's actually true. So we're just acknowledging that. Yes, it's difficult to wrap your heads around Ein Sof, infinity, immortality, the continuity of all things. Yes, it's difficult to see that. And for some people, impossible. But for us on this path, we want to connect to that, because that realm of Ein Sof, that realm of immortality, that realm of unlimited blessings is what we are connecting to. And that is the source. So right away, it's like we want to have a consciousness. What's the meditation over blessing? I'm connecting to that source. And for us, it's the head. It's literally, what is Keter, the highest of the 10 Sfirot? It means crown. It's connection to this. It's our consciousness which matters. It's always the head. It's always the internal energy. It's always the source that exists beyond what our five senses tell us. It is our sixth sense. It is our third eye. It is our intuitive sense. It's like to connect to that requires connecting to our soul. So this is all about elevating our consciousness, connecting to our soul, connecting to the flawless universe that's beyond the world that we see. Is it there? Yes. Do you have certainty about it? I mean, you know, that's a challenge, isn't it? How can I have certainty about that there's a flawless universe? I don't see that. Yeah, that's right. And so we have to be stuck in this world without seeing it. Otherwise, it'd be too easy. We wouldn't be doing the work that we need to do. And so much of this is about doing the work of seeing the world in a deeper way and seeing, of course, our life in a different way. Like that's just another example. When you can't consciously think about the flawless universe, there's a blockage there. We have to rise above that blockage. And so this study, when we're reading the Zohar is literally a channel to the flawless universe, specifically Binah, the reservoir of fulfillment. But it's a channel to that endless universe. And so by studying this, we are consciously connecting to that flawless universe. And when you connect to it, you're removing the blockages that are in the way. The things about me that I can't let go of. Poor my victim consciousness, my insecurity, my fears, my loneliness. Those are illusions. Now, but I really feel them. Yes, I know. And to that degree, feelings can be misleading. But those feelings are the GPS back to your soul. We have to work on those things so we make a stronger soul connection. Your soul never feels alone. Your soul knows you're never alone. So again, every blessing is an opportunity for that and more. But the Creator doesn't need our blessing. The world does, though. The world definitely needs the blessings that we make. Okay, let's continue.
Therefore, the priest receives his portion first and is always first in line.
What do we mean by the priest? Well, the priest traditionally, the Kohanim, were the most elevated group and became our emissaries to the light. And they had a lot more restrictions than we had. They still remain in some very limited circumstances, well, not so limited, but they still remain the channels for this light. So certain times of the year and of the week, the remnants of the priests, of the Kohens that are still around. I mean, there's a genetic test to determine if you're a priest or not. There's actually a genetic marker that goes all the way back to Aaron, the first priest, the brother of Moses. So like people who don't know if they're priests or not, they can take a genetic test and confirm that. So they are designed somewhat differently spiritually. It actually shows up in the genetic code. They are very elevated channels. And so, of course, you want them to go first. It's not because we like them more. It's not because like God plays favorites. It's because they're designed differently. It's like you're not going to tee off with your putter. You need a driver. You need the right tool to maximize that connection. And so the priest it's not so much about the priest receives his portion first, because the Creator's not playing favorites. The priest is there to channel the blessings. Okay, keep going.
That is why the knee bending is at blessed, and lowering at the head is at you.
Okay, so the first two words of the standing of prayer, the Amidah, is Baruch Atah. So at Baruch, we bend our knees. I have a visual for this. This nectarine is the head. So we bend our knees and then we bend down. Okay, why? What do you mean? I understand. Okay, that's what we do. That's why the knee bending is at blessed and the lowering of the head is at you. I get the lowering the head at you because, again, we've just been told that you is the head. Doesn't tell us why we're bending our knees. So let's delve a little bit. So in other words, yes, you can always connect consciously. There's things to do. But when you're in the standing prayer, there's actually something physical to do. And there's multiple physical things to do with the standing prayer. Why? What is the deal with those rituals? I mean, I'm serious, like for decades on end, I did that without ever understanding the reason why. Just like a lot of other people, they just do it because that's the way it's done. We need to always ask why. Why is it done that way? Because if you don't ask why, you don't know what the connection is. We don't know the purpose. And I'm just saying, generally speaking, I try to catch myself doing things without understanding the purpose and meaning behind them. Because A, because it's a waste of opportunity, but B, because it's a waste of, I want to maximize those connections. So I need to understand why. I mean, we're not robots, although we do show up with them. Interestingly, I don't know how accurate this is, but there was a podcast I listened to when I was talking about consciousness and talking about the fact that the first 7 years of our life, we're basically downloading the software. And after the age of 7, it's that software that governs us. And the point that the speaker was making was, let's say you're in your car and you're driving, and then you get to your destination, like, how did I get here? I don't remember a single thing. We've all, I'm sure, experienced that.
Mhm.
Well, then who is driving the car? Well, we were on autopilot. No, but there is no, I mean, some cars have autopilot now, but I don't mean that. What do you mean we were on autopilot? It was the software that we've downloaded our whole life that was driving the car. We were operating at a subconscious level. Well, what went into that subconscious? Oh, software we picked up. It's like back in the day, you turn on your computer. It really didn't work until you downloaded software to figure out what to use that technology. Well, in as much the same way, we download social programming and other programs so we can operate in the world. And a lot of times we're operating at a subconscious level. We don't even, we think about other stuff. You're driving, but your head is elsewhere. I mean, I'm not saying it's unsafe, but the interesting thing is like how much of your life is being operated by that subconscious level. And you don't even know what you're doing. We don't know what we're doing. We've let the subconscious level to kind of take over. I mean, seriously, every report card I got in grade school said daydreamer. I was like, out. Of course I was. I was out to lunch. I was like out there. The interesting thing is when we are operating at a subconscious level and kind of going through the motions and we don't see it, rest assured, the people around us do see it. That's the interesting thing. Everyone else is seeing it. I mean, next time you're in your car driving, just look at the people around you. You can see they're at a subconscious level. They're not really there. So like when we show up and we're with people and we're on our cell phone, we're physically there, but we're not there. We're really not there. And we want to be there. Those are the people. If we want to connect with people, we need to be present to that, not in the subconscious like automatic autopilot. Clearly, though, if we're at the highest spiritual connection of that part of the day, we want to have that consciousness. And that's the major takeaway for us here. It's difficult. Let's face it, it is difficult because we have all this programming going on and it does take over and our consciousness does float away. So this is going to happen. But at important times, we want to try and draw that consciousness back and direct our consciousness to understand that at Baruch and Atah and whatever else we're going to learn about, that we are conscious to what that connection is so that we can make the strongest connection possible. It's not like you're not making any connection. It's just not the strongest. In one of Batya Solomon's classes, I'm not sure if it's Kabbalah 6, which just wrapped up this week, or Kabbalah 5. I don't remember exactly, but she was like, don't miss the opportunity to send blessings to people, whether you articulate it or not. Like, bless. I bless you with what you're doing right now. I'm blessing you that this really works out. I'm thinking about you. I'm sending you blessings. I'm keeping you in mind. It's like, we should be doing that. You could do it with anybody. Just simple saying, bless you. Let alone the people that we have relationships with. Okay, let's keep going.
Wherever the priest reads you, he bows down when praying. After a king lowers down his head at the beginning of the of the Amidah prayer. He does not raise it again until he finishes the prayer.
Okay, so this is an idea of like when we lower our head, we are making this connection, we are grounding, we are bringing it down. It's about manifesting these blessings. That's why the formula is there, the bending of the knees and then the bending of the head. It's something, we're doing something physical to manifest the blessings that we are connecting to in the flawless universe, in the realm of fulfillment, because there are blessings we're trying to bring down here. Go ahead.
What is the reason? It is because the Holy One, blessed be He, said to the moon, "Go and diminish yourself." And the moon, which is Mahud, has not yet strengthened himself from the diminishing.
Okay, so that's a very straightforward answer. Is it though? Like what? That's the answer? Like why? I mean, the Zohar says, like, what is the reason for this? And the Zohar gives us an explanation, which is like, we're going to have to unpack because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's because the Creator said to the moon, go and diminish yourself. And it's still diminished. What are we talking about? Anyone? Have any idea what the moon's got to do with this? Okay, so once upon a time, as the story goes, there was the moon and the sun, and they were equally bright. And the Creator said to the moon, I need you to diminish your light. And so the moon did. And as you can see tonight, it'll be just, the moon has just started to wane because it's the 19th. So it was the full moon on the 15th, and now it's heading back towards new moon. So it's relatively full, but no, it's not full. It's like, I don't know, 60, 70%, 65, 70% there. But you can see that it's not as bright as the sun. Okay, so what does it mean that so this goes back to what we were saying before. We wanted a realm where we could manifest the light. So yes, there's a sun and a moon, but the sun and the moon are analogous to the sun being the upper realm, the moon being our realm. Our realm has no light of its own, just like the moon has no light of its own. This is a metaphor to help us understand the construct of our reality, which is there's no light here. Well, the moon has light. No, it's reflecting light. Our realm reflects light. Our light has no light of its own. Because again, we asked for a realm where we could be like the Creator and share light. So the realm has no light. If we want to share light, we have to channel the light. We are manifestors of that light. We have a baseline of light here that comes in, that keeps the lights on, basically, that keeps us warm and comfortable. I mean, there is a baseline, but even that, you can lose that here easily. So big takeaway, let's appreciate the light that we do have. But we shouldn't be satisfied with that. Well, how do I generate more light? What's the magic? It's desire. We have to desire more light. And then the means will present themselves to us in terms of physically what we need to do. So I can understand that the Amidah is a high prayer connection. I need to bend my knees and bow I can understand that. I can know that it's there, but I need to do things. In this realm, you need to do stuff. Thinking of it is step one. Doing something is step two. So understanding what that meditation is, that consciousness is on prayer is step one. Then doing something about it is step two. Physically, we need to do something. And so much of the tools that we have involve a consciousness followed by an action. And here it's no different because the moon's been diminished. Our realm, the light doesn't appear here. Is the light here? Yes. but we don't perceive it because your soul perceives it, but your soul's strapped on this bodysuit to do work in this realm. And if you're looking through your bodysuit, through your five senses, you don't see the light. Hence, we're always working for enlightenment. We're always working for and moving towards elevating our consciousness so that we can channel more blessings into this world. Now, it's a key phrase right here. It's a key point when has not yet straightened herself from this diminishing. The moon hasn't yet recovered from that diminishing. That's the world that we're in. Not yet. Will it? Yes, it will. The story goes that at the Gemara Tikkun, in the final correction, the moon is once again as bright as the sun. Keep going.
A king is the aspect of Mahut. Therefore, he lowers his head and does not rise up. Hence, a blessing with which a person blesses the Holy One, blessed be he, is aroused to pour down blessings from above to all the world, as we have learned. Blessed are the children of Israel in this world and the world to come.
So this Zohar section ends with this whole idea that, like, who are the children of Israel? It's us. It's those of us that have the capacity, that have the desire, that have the consciousness, that are awake enough to understand that this is actually the construct of reality. And by understanding that, it's incumbent upon us to use the tools, to use our consciousness, and to use our tools to channel more blessings into the world. And that's the opportunity that we have here, and that's the opportunity that we have this week, and a special opportunity during this week's portion. Okay, everybody, we're out of time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you all. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.